Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine a freefall that lasts for 11 seconds. This isn't a skydive. It's not a scene from a sci-fi movie. 11 seconds is the time it takes for a stone, dropped from this very bridge, to hit the heart of the river below. In the southwest of China, there's a region known as the beautiful scar on the face of the earth. And here, on September 28, 2025, a new wonder of the world was officially completed. It doesn't point to the sky, yet it's closer to the heavens than any skyscraper in Europe. This is the Huajiang Grand Canyon Bridge, the world's tallest, with a deck soaring 625 meters above the river. But this isn't just a story about being the first. It's a story about finding the answer. An answer to why we challenge such limits. An answer to how a province, once imprisoned by its own terrain, could turn its chasms into an epic saga. And an answer to what we're truly chasing when we bring the mountains to our feet. To understand the Huajiang Grand Canyon Bridge, you first have to understand where it was born: Guizhou. Open a topographical map of China, and you'll see the colors here are deep and dark. This isn't a land of plains. It's like a sheet of paper that has been crumpled, squeezed, and then violently unfurled by the hands of a god. Over 1.25 million peaks stand here, with mountains and hills making up 92.5% of the province. What does that actually mean? It means that two villages that look close on a map, maybe only a kilometer apart, could be separated by a deep valley. Traveling between them meant climbing up and down mountains for the better part of a day. It meant that high-quality crops would rot in the fields because the cost of transport was just too high. And it meant that for generations, people were trapped in this majestic, yet unforgiving landscape. The world beyond was a distant, unreachable dream. This very canyon, carved by the Beipen River, is one of the deepest and most treacherous of Guizhou's countless scars. The straight-line distance from one side to the other is just over 1,000 meters. But in the past, for a car to get across, it had to navigate a winding, cliffside road for nearly 2 hours. Now, a new economic artery, the Lian Expressway, needed to cross this divide. Engineers faced a Shakespearean choice. Do they build down, creating a lower bridge with steeper roads and more tunnels? Or do they build up, facing the challenge head-on and leaping across from the canyon's very top? Think about this. The world-famous Millau Viaduct in France, with its tallest pier reaching an incredible 343 meters, is a monument of human engineering. But here, even the Millau Viaduct would fall short of the other side. America's Golden Gate Bridge, an icon of suspension bridges, has a main span of 1,280 meters, but the clearance below its deck is barely a tenth of the Huajiang Grand Canyon Bridge. The answer was obvious. Faced with this colossal chasm, the only way was up. To build a super suspension bridge, 625 meters in the air, with a main span of over 1,420 meters. This wasn't just an engineering decision, it was a declaration. We no longer go around the mountains. We drive through the clouds. So how do you build a bridge like this? It all starts with these two towers, standing 262 and 254 meters tall, the pillars holding up the sky. They had to be anchored securely on the mountain peaks. To do that, engineers drilled 24 massive foundation piles deep into the earth, the deepest going down 68 meters. That's like burying a 20-story building entirely inside the mountain, just to give the towers an unshakable base. Then, a piece of high-tech called the tower building machine came into play. Like a smart mold climbing upwards, it printed the towers section by section, rising at an average of 0.8 meters a day with absolute precision. This is China speed, a race against the sky itself. If the towers are the arms holding up the bridge, the anchorages are the fists clutching the reins. On one end of the canyon, where there was open space, engineers built a colossal concrete anchorage weighing 400,000 tons. Its own gravity is enough to hold back the weight of half the bridge. But the other side was narrow and tight. The solution: use the mountain itself as an anchor. Engineers carved 2 massive tunnels deep into the rock, embedding the main cable's anchor structure into the mountain's core. They made the mountain a part of the bridge. It was a clever solution, born from a deep respect for nature. And now for the most poetic and terrifying moment of all. How do you get that very first rope across a 1,400-meter-wide deadly canyon? No more rocket launchers or airships. A small drone, like a brave messenger, buzzed across the void, pulling a thin white cord behind it. This seemingly insignificant pilot rope was the starting point for everything. It was used to pull a thicker rope, which pulled an even thicker one, and so on in a daisy-chain process. Eventually, they strung up 2 temporary walkways between the towers for the workers, the catwalks. Imagine walking on a swaying 1-meter-wide path, more than 600 meters in the air, a bottomless abyss below your feet, and the vast, open sky above. The sheer courage it took is a monument in itself. Next came the main cables. 217 smaller cables, each woven from 91 high-strength steel wires, were pulled across and laid into place. Here, China's Beidou satellite system acted as a celestial eye, positioning the very first guide cable with an accuracy of just 2 millimeters, because everyone knew a tiny error here could lead to a massive failure later. Only when all these strands were compressed by a machine into a silver dragon, nearly a meter in diameter, did the bridge's lifeline truly begin to beat. Finally, the bridge deck. Over 50,000 tons of steel were divided into 93 giant Lego blocks. Each piece weighed over 200 tons. In the canyon's powerful crosswinds, hoisting and locking these massive objects into place with pinpoint accuracy was like trying to thread a needle in a hurricane. To do this, engineers used LiDAR technology to monitor and predict wind speed and direction in real time, giving them a precious window of opportunity for each lift. The moment the final piece of the deck was slotted into the center and the bridge was joined, the scar that had torn this land apart for millions of years was finally stitched closed. When the chief engineer was interviewed, he said, very matter-of-factly, "Honestly, there weren't too many difficulties or challenges." He wasn't bragging. That confidence comes from a history of pushing the limits. It comes from 19 years ago, when the Huajiang Bridge raised the world record for the highest bridge from around 200 meters to 565. It comes from 6 years ago, when the Pingtang Bridge built the world's tallest concrete bridge tower at 332 meters. And it comes from decades of Chinese bridge engineers turning one impossible after another into, in China, nothing is impossible. With the opening of the Huajiang Grand Canyon Bridge, a 2-hour ordeal has been cut to a less than 2-minute drive. But that's just the beginning of the story. You think this is just a road? No. From the very start, it was designed with a grander mission, to be a world-class tourist destination. Right next to the bridge, a service area called Cloud Ferry has opened. The name itself is pure poetry. Here, people can park, walk onto viewing platforms, and feel for themselves the awe of a bridge soaring north to south, turning a chasm into a thoroughfare. In the future, there are even plans for bungee jumping and giant swings. This will be a bridge you can play on, a viral landmark in its own right. Look across all of Guizhou and you'll find over 30,000 bridges like this one. They are like giant needles, weaving this fragmented land tightly together. Did you know of the 100 highest bridges in the world, nearly half are right here in China's Guizhou province? The density is just astounding. What these bridges connect isn't just a highway network, it's a unique, high-speed plateau. They have given Guizhou, a province once described as having no 3 feet of flat land, the most efficient and level transportation system in all of southwest China. So let's go back to our first question. Why did we build a bridge like this? Was it to conquer nature? No, quite the opposite. It's to live with nature better. Was it to show off technology? Maybe a little, but the deeper drive is the thirst for development and the yearning for a better life. They say that humans can't move mountains, but here in Guizhou, they found a better answer. And that is to build a new road for themselves and for the future, high above the clouds.